Dear students of Higher Secondary First Year Science of SS College, myself Dr. Rupam Sen, Associate Professor, Department of Physics, Sri Kishan Sharda College. Today I am going to take the second part of your chapter 12, that is thermodynamics. Today our first topic is isothermal and adiabatic process. What is isothermal and what is adiabatic process? In isothermal process, any process by which the volume and pressure of a substance or a system may be changed without any change of temperature is called an isothermal process, and the change is known as isothermal change. Briefly, I can say, in a system where the temperature remain constant and pressure and volume may be changed, but main aspect is that the temperature should remain constant, and that process is called isothermal process. And in adiabatic process, here we can say any process by which the volume and pressure of a substance or a system may change without allowing any heat to enter or leave, and the corresponding change is known as adiabatic change. That is, in a system where heat can neither enter or leave, and that system is called adiabatic system, and the corresponding process is known as adiabatic process. Okay, that is, in a adiabatic process, heat can neither enter or leave the system, and that system is called adiabatic system, and the corresponding process is known as adiabatic process. Now we move to the next topic. Now our discussion is regarding isobaric and isochoric process. We should know what is isobaric process and what is isochoric process. In isobaric process, we can say the process in which change in volume and temperature of a gas take place at a constant pressure is called isobaric process. That is, in a process in which the pressure remain constant and volume and temperature of a gas may change, that process is called isobaric process. That is, main thing is that the pressure should remain constant. In a process where the pressure remain constant and volume and temperature of a gas may change, that process is called isobaric process. And in isochoric process, where the change in pressure and temperature take place in such a way that the volume of the system remains constant is called isochoric process. That is, the process in which the volume of the system should remain constant. Pressure and temperature may change, but volume of the system should remain constant, and that process is known as isochoric process. Okay, now let us move to the next topic. Now we discuss on equation of state. We should know what is equation of state. We know there are three thermodynamical variables, which are pressure, volume and temperature. and the relation between those three variables is called equation of state. Okay, suppose we consider an ideal gas, that is a perfect gas. We know ideal gas or a perfect gas is a gas which follows all the gas laws. That's why it is called ideal or perfect gas. The equation of state for an ideal gas is PV equal to RT for 1 mole of gas. If there are n mole of ideal gas, if we consider n number of mole of the gas, then the relation would be PV equal to nRT, where n stands for number of mole and the capital R symbol, which is a constant known as universal gas constant. Okay, thus we can say the equation of state is the relation between three thermodynamical variables, and those three thermodynamical variables are pressure, volume and temperature, and the relation between those three is called equation of state. Okay, now let's move to the next topic. Our next topic of discussion is specific heat. You may ask, what is specific heat? Specific heat, actually, the amount of heat. Suppose we consider 1 gram of substance. To raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius, we have to apply some heat, and that amount of heat is called the specific heat of that substance. I repeat once again, suppose we consider 1 gram of substance. We have to increase the temperature of that substance, that 1 gram of substance, by 1 degree Celsius. To increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius, we have to apply some heat, and that amount of heat is called its specific heat. Okay, so the definition of specific heat is, it is the amount of heat per gram absorbed by a body to change its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, now I am going to find the expression of specific heat. Suppose Q, capital Q, be the amount of heat, small m be the mass of a body, and delta T be the rise in temperature, because we apply some heat, and due to the application of heat, the temperature rises, and the amount of temperature rises is denoted by delta T. And suppose S be the specific heat of the body. Okay, then the amount of heat Q can be written as Q equal to ms delta T. Q is the amount of heat, m is the mass of the substance, S is called specific heat, and delta T is the rise in temperature. From that relation, we can write S equal to Q by m delta T. This is the expression of specific heat of a substance. Okay, and the CGS unit of specific heat is calorie per gram per degree Celsius. You may ask how this unit comes. Here you see is S equal to Q by M delta T. Q is the heat, M is the mass of the substance, and delta T is the rise in temperature. For Q, that is heat, the unit is calorie. The unit is calorie. For Q, the unit is calorie. And here the unit of M is gram in CGS unit, and the unit of delta T, that is rise in temperature, is written as degree Celsius. Okay, that's why the unit of specific heat is calorie per gram per degree Celsius, and the SI unit of specific heat is, for Q, that is heat, the unit is joule, and for mass the unit is kg, and for delta T, that is rise in temperature, the unit is Kelvin. That is, SI unit of specific heat is joule per kg per Kelvin. Okay. Now let us move to the next topic, which is molar specific heat of gas. What is molar specific heat? Just now we came across the expression of specific heat, the definition of specific heat. Now we are going to discuss about molar specific heat. Here I can say, let us consider 1 mole of substance. Okay, 1 mole of substance or 1 mole of gas. To raise its temperature by 1 Kelvin, we have to apply some heat, and that amount of heat is called molar specific heat. Okay, I repeat once again. Suppose we consider 1 mole, not 1 gram, 1 mole of gas. Okay, to increase its temperature by 1 Kelvin, we have to apply or supply some amount of heat, and that amount of heat is called molar specific heat. And molar specific heat are of 2 types. One is known as molar specific heat at constant volume, which is denoted by Cv, C suffix V, and another one is molar specific heat at constant pressure, which is written as or denoted as Cp. You may ask, what is molar specific heat at constant volume? Actually, it is the amount of heat per mole. Per mole means 1 mole absorbed by a gas at constant volume to change its temperature by 1 Kelvin. Okay, suppose we consider 1 mole of gas at constant volume. That is most important. We consider 1 mole of gas at constant volume. To change its temperature by 1 Kelvin, we have to supply some amount of heat, and that amount of heat is called molar specific heat at constant volume, and whose symbol is Cv. Now let us consider dQ be the amount of heat. dQ be the amount of heat which is required to raise the temperature of n mole of a gas by delta T, that is rise in temperature by delta T at constant volume. Then we can write dQ equal to n Cv delta T. you can ask, sir, how we write dq equal to ncv delta t? Okay, then let's see. Here, in case of specific heat, we have written q equal to ms delta t, where the heat is denoted by capital Q and mass of the body is denoted by small m. Specific heat of the body is denoted by S, and rise in temperature is denoted by delta T. Okay. Similarly, in case of molar specific heat at constant volume, we can write, in case of heat, we have written dq. In earlier case, we have written the heat as q. Here heat is denoted by dq. Okay, and mass of the body is written in case of specific heat as m. Here amount of mole or number of mole is denoted by small n. And in earlier case, when we discuss about specific heat, where specific heat is denoted by S, here molar specific heat is denoted by Cv and rising temperature as delta T. Okay. Thus, in next line we can write Cv equal to dq by n delta T. Okay. That is the expression of Cv. Cv means molar specific heat at constant volume. And the SI unit of Cv is joule per mole per Kelvin. Here you see Cv equal to dq by n delta T. The unit of dq means heat, is joule, because heat is a kind of energy, and SI unit of energy, that is heat energy, is written as joule. And in denominator there is a symbol n, which is number of mole. That's why I written joule per mole, and for delta T the unit is Kelvin. Okay. Thus the SI unit of molar specific heat at constant volume is joule per mole per Kelvin. Okay. Now we move to the next molar specific heat, which is known as molar specific heat at constant pressure. Actually, it is just identical to earlier case. The only difference is where we have taken the gas is at constant volume, and here the gas is at constant pressure. Which is the basic difference between molar specific heat at constant pressure and molar specific heat at constant volume? And the definition is, it is the amount of heat per mole. Per mole means 1 mole absorbed by a gas at constant pressure to change its temperature by 1 Kelvin. Now let us consider dq be the amount of heat. Okay, dq be the amount of heat is supplied to raise the temperature of n mole of a gas. Okay, n mole of a gas by delta T at constant pressure, because it is molar specific heat at constant pressure. Here we have to maintain the pressure at a constant value. Okay, then we can write dq equal to, just like in earlier case, we can write dq equal to n Cp delta T. In last case, when we discuss about molar specific heat at constant volume, where we have written dq equal to n Cv delta T. That implies Cp equal to dq by n delta T. The SI unit of molar specific heat at constant pressure is joule per mole per Kelvin. Okay. Now let us move to the next topic. Why Cp is greater than Cv? That is one of the most important question. Okay. The question is why Cp, that is molar specific heat at constant pressure, is greater than molar specific heat at constant volume. The reason is during Cp there is rise in temperature as well as work done. When we apply certain amount of heat to a gas at constant pressure, then due to the application of heat, the temperature rises as well as there is a certain amount of work done. Okay, that is temperature rises and work done takes place in case of Cv. But in case of Cv, that is molar specific heat at constant volume, there is only rise in temperature due to the application of heat. Thus, we can say in case of Cp, when we apply certain amount of heat, there is rise in temperature as well as work done. But in case of Cv, there is only rise in temperature, but no work done will take place. That's why we can say specific heat of gas at constant pressure is greater than the specific heat of gas at constant volume. Okay, I think you understand that the why Cp is greater than Cv. Now we move to the next topic. Our next topic is we have to show, that is Cp minus Cv equal to R. We know what is Cv, we know what is Cp, and we also know what is R. R is universal gas constant. So please see the diagram. It is a cylinder, okay, and this is called piston. Suppose we consider a cylinder and cylinder is attached with a piston, and inside the cylinder, suppose we consider there is a collection of ideal or perfect gas. Okay, as long as this piston remains fixed in its original position, the volume of the cylinder remains constant. Then the volume of the cylinder remains constant, or we may say the volume of the gas should remain constant. But when this piston moves upward, then volume increases, volume of the gas or volume of the cylinder increases, but in this case the pressure remains constant. In first figure, in this figure here, since piston remains at its original position, there is no work done because piston doesn't move upward or downwards. That's why we can say there is no work done and volume remains constant. So if we apply certain amount of heat, that heat should be CV. Why CV? Because in this case the volume remains constant. Since volume remains constant, because piston doesn't move upward or downwards, that's why that amount of heat which we apply, that heat is known as CV, because for constant volume of the gas. But in this case the piston moves upward, that's why the volume of the gas increases, and we may say the gas pushes the piston upwards. Thus one can say here work done takes place, and work done is due to the, and this work done is due to the, this work is done by the gas to push the piston upward. Okay, and in this case, in second figure, the pressure remains constant. That means when we apply heat, in this case the temperature rises, volume also increases, but ultimately pressure remains constant. That's why the amount of heat which we supply here, that amount of heat is known as Cp. Okay, earlier case in figure 1, when we supply heat, the volume remain constant, that's why that amount of heat which was supplied, that amount of heat is known as Cv. And here, due to the application of heat, temperature rises, volume also increases. You can see, comparing both the figure, the volume of the gas increases and work is done by the gas to push the piston upward. That's why work is also done here, and the amount of heat supplied here is called Cp. Okay. Now let us consider 1 mole of a perfect gas at temperature T and pressure P. Okay. Here we consider 1 mole of a perfect gas at temperature capital T and pressure P. Let its temperature be increased by dT, keeping the volume constant. The amount of heat supplied is given by dq equal to 1 into Cv into dt. You may ask how this expression comes. For this reference, you see dq equal to n Cv dt. dq is the amount of heat, n is the number of mole, Cv is the molar specific heat at constant volume, and delta T is the rising temperature. Okay, here dq is the amount of heat, number of mole is 1, and since volume remains constant, in first figure volume remains constant, since volume remains constant, we can write Cv, that is molar specific heat at constant volume, and dt is the rising temperature. That implies dq equal to Cv into dt, because 1 into Cv into dt equal to Cv into dt. According to the first law of thermodynamics that was given by Clausius, according to the first law of thermodynamics, we have dq equal to du plus dw. Okay, since there is no change in volume, here you see there is no change in volume because piston remains at its original position, and since piston doesn't move upwards, we may say there is no work done, and since there is no work done by the gas to push the piston upward, that's why we may write dw equal to 0, that is work done equal to 0. If dW equal to 0, we may write dq equal to du. Hence, from first law of thermodynamics, we can write dq equal to du and dq equal to cv dt, and we know dq equal to cv dt. So, from the first law of thermodynamics, we know dq equal to du plus dw. Since dw equal to 0, because there is no work done by the gas, hence we can write dq equal to du equal to cv dt, which is marked as equation number 1. Now the gas be heated through dt at constant pressure. Let dV be the increase in volume of the gas. Here you see, here the volume increases. Comparing the figure 1, we can say the volume increases by dV and temperature also increases by dt. Then we can say work is done by the gas to push the piston upward. Since piston is pushed upward, there is increase in volume and work is also done, and that work done is written as dW equal to pdV. How this expression comes? You see, work equal to force into displacement. Here displacement is the displacement of the piston. Piston is displaced from this position to this position. Okay, the work equal to force into displacement. That implies work equal to, in case of force, we can write pressure into area. Work can be written as pressure into area into displacement. That implies work equal to pressure, here P comes, and area into displacement equal to volume. Work equal to, that is W equal to P into V. Following this, we can write dW equal to pdV. Here W equal to P into V. Here dW equal to pdV. And dq equal to cp dt. Why we written dq equal to cp dt? Here we have written dq equal to cv dt because in this case volume remains constant. Amount of heat dq is written as cv dt, but here pressure remains constant. From first law of thermodynamics, we get dq equal to du plus dw. In case of dq, we may write cp into dt. Here dq is written as cp into dt equal to du. In case of du, we may write cv into dt. Here du is written as cv into dt plus dw. In case of dw, we may write pdv. Here dw is written as pdv, which is marked as equation number 2. For 1 mole of perfect gas, PV equal to RT. Differentiating both sides at constant pressure, differentiating the above relation PV equal to RT, we may write pdV. Since pressure remains constant, then differentiating the left hand side, we get pdV equal to R is constant, which is called universal gas constant, R equal to dt, which is marked as equation number 3. From equation 2 and 3, we get Cp dt equal to Cv dt plus, in place of pdV, we may write R dt. Cancelling dt from both sides, we may write Cp equal to Cv plus R. That implies Cp minus Cv equal to R. We can establish the relation, which is Cp minus Cv equal to R. the above relation, that is Cp minus Cv equal to R, that relation is also known as Mayer's formula. Okay, the topics to be discussed in next class are: we would find the expression of work done during isothermal process, and also we will find the expression of work done during adiabatic process. Okay, so thank you once again. See you in next class.